Right, hello again. I'm Dread Mechanic. I'm back again for some more subgrid vanilla nonsense. In pardon me. In my last stream, I showed you guys how to make a vanilla subgrid control system. Unfortunately, due to the nature of space engineers' physics and not being able to calculate the weight of subgrids properly, it will sink, which can be a bit of a pain in the arse. But that's an issue with just subgrid thrusters in general, regardless of whether they're script controlled or vanilla controlled. But it moves left, it moves right, it moves forward, it moves backwards. I deliberately didn't put any up or down on it, because I wanted to address that in this stream. Where's it gone? Oh, it's all the way over there. So, we've got our subgrid thrusters mounted on rotors. And these rotors can go forward and backward. Yeah. They can go forward and backward. But without the use of a script, they can only go back to they can only move between two set positions, as in up and forward. If we wanted our rotors to be able to go anywhere else, we'd have to adjust the limits even further. But then how do we get it to sit in the middle? So we want to make it go up rather than just forward or backward. And the answer to that, surprise surprise, is more event controllers. And one of these event controllers is going to stop that rotor when it gets to the position we want it to make the thruster point up. And to make things a bit easier in programming, we're going to have another event controller that is going to control this rotor moving backwards and forwards, which is going to be triggered by this light turning on and off. As you can see, that event controller is doing stuff. And that controller on the top is preventing it from moving all the way back. And that is pretty much the idea behind making a vanilla V-TOL system and getting our rotors and thrusters to fire in the right directions, like so. Push forward, it goes all the way back. If I push up, it goes up. And we do that by setting up, first of all, we set up a rotor controller that is set to angle changed, and it looks at that thruster rotor. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. That's the one we want. Block on and off, sorry. And that is set to the thruster light. And when that light is turned on and off, it changes the velocity overrides on that rotor. So to begin with, we select reset velocity, and then we choose whichever direction makes it point forward, and on the opposite side we choose whichever direction makes it point backwards, or whatever direction we happen to want it to turn. So then, by setting it up like that, turning that light on and off makes that rotor move. And then we've got another controller that is going to stop it when we want it to stop. This one will be set to angle changed. It will be slightly before it reaches the point we want it to stop, so we want it to stop at 0, but we have it stop exactly on 0. It'll pitch back slightly because there's a slight delay between the action being triggered and actually kicking in. So we set that to just before the point we want it to stop, and about 5 degrees is about right for it to be vertical. And then after that, once we've got those controls set up, we need to have an up controller, and we also need to have an up and down on and off timer. Sorry, an up on and off timer. We'll do down later on if we need to. And just like all the others, they've got a controller that's being triggered by thrusters, so we'll set that controller to get triggered by all of these big vertical thrusters on the bottom, and it'll turn stuff on and off. So then we have an up system. And for this, we want our controller that stops our rotor turning on first. Then we want to turn the light off so that it moves the rotor into place. And then we want to fire the thrusters so that they fire upwards, like so. And in our forward section, we don't need to actually set anything up, apparently. Where are we? I'm looking at the wrong thing. Forward on. Oh, there we go, there's just a big space. So that's the settings we had last time. We no longer need to turn off the front thrusters because they're not going to be fighting us anymore. They're going to be working with us. So now, when we hit forward on, we want to turn off the controller that stops the rotor from moving. We want to turn the light off to move it backwards, and we want to fire all those thrusters, and then that will make it do that. There you go. So pressing forward turns off the stop controller, pressing up turns it on, and it stops the rotor. And all we need to do now is do that a whole bunch more times for the other side. So we've got controller FL01 up. And that can be FR01 up. That can be our rotor controller. That should be all we need for that. So we select FR01. But if we select rotor, then we can see what the other side is and copy it more easily. So we want block switched on and off. That's a point. We also need to set up a few more lights. We will sort out one by one as we go. So we'll copy that. Call it FR01. There we go. So block switched on and off. Type in the word light and we get FR01. And then it's just a question of setting up this rotor. So we want to reset the velocity first of all. Then we want to decrease it a bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then on page 2 we will reset it again. And then we'll increase it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 because you only get 9 slots in a event controller, which is a bit annoying. So now that light makes that move. When it turns on, it moves forward. It turns off, it moves back. And we want it to match. We want it to be able to move the same way. So we need it to go all the way up to 60. So we're going to copy that rotor controller. So it'll be angle changed, and this is the opposite side, so it'll be greater than -5. It will be our thruster rotor FR01. And all we need to do is reset the velocity when it gets to where we want it to go. We reset that velocity. We'll do what we want it to now. So we can move that back to where it was. We can turn that on, and if we move that back, it stops there, and it won't get past there while that controller is active. So, what we need to do now apply some more controls into here. So we need to do FR01. We need to turn off that controller. We need to turn off that light. We need to stop and turn off that timer. And we need to turn on and start that one. It should be as simple as that. Oh. Something's not quite right. Oh yeah, we didn't set up the off button, did we? Did we not set up the off control properly? Light forward off. No, we did not, did we? So. We do that, we do that. We aren't going to need that anymore. So, FR01, first thing we want to do turn that light back on. Stop that, turn it off, and then turn that on and trigger it. There we go. That's the forward control. Every time we push forward, it turns those thrusters on, pushes them forwards. Now we need to make the right control match on the up controller. Up, on. So FR01. And on. The light will turn off. That will stop and turn off. That will turn on and trigger. And then when we hit up, it does that. Then we need our off control, which is again pretty straightforward. We just turn that light back on. Then we stop that timer, turn it off, turn on the off timer and trigger it. So there we go. We can go up, we can go forward, we can go up, we can go forward. That's two of them. I will copy that. And that can be our light for RL01. For that we're going to need another set of event blocks. So that could be the one that controls the rotor. And that can be the one that stops it moving up. Not FR, it's RL. So, RL 01. We want to be block switched on and off. Type in light, that'll be easier. RL01, there it is. So when that is on, we want to reset the velocity, and we want to decrease it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oop, 8 is too many. There we go. Then we want to reset it again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oop. 7. Yeah, I thought I might have done the same thing there. So that is the controller for the rotor. And you want to set the stop controller. So that rotor moves between 90 and 60, so when it gets to greater than -5. Greater than -5, it will reset. Ooh. That's rotor. So we turn that on. Hang on. Greater than -5. Why was that? Not doing anything. It is switched on. It is not being triggered. Oh, that's why, because I didn't set up the bloody rotor. Like an idiot. RL01 rotor. There we go. Cool. There we go. While that's on, it can't do that, and while it's off, it can go as far as it likes. There we go. So that's that. So now we just need to add that into our forward and up controls. And also some reverse controls. Oh no, we don't need to add it to forward, we just need to add it to reverse and up. So, when we reverse forward, remind myself what it was. Yeah, turn off the controller, turn off the light. Thought as much. Right, so when we hit reverse, that. RL01, we will turn off that, off that. We'll turn that, stop that, turn it off, turn that on, and trigger it. So now when we hit reverse, it flies into action. Reverse off. Hit them anymore. RL01. All we need to do is turn that light back on. Stop that. Turn it off. Turn that on. Trigger it. So I'm gonna hit S again. There we go. Hit W. Hit S. W. S. Spacebar. So when we go up, basically want to copy these settings and these settings onto our RL01. So we want to turn that on, turn that off. We want to stop that, turn it off, turn that on and trigger it. So now when we hit up, they all hit up. When we turn it off, same thing again, RL01. Light turn on. The on timer, stop it, turn it off. The off timer, turn it on and trigger it. So that's up, that's forward, that's reverse. Right. One more for that. So copy those settings, paste those settings, rear right 01, copy all, and rear right 01. Copy all. Rear right 01 controller. RR01. Cool. So, like everything else, it wants to be block switched on and off. It wants to be controlled by a light. And when that light is turned on and off, we want that rotor to reset. And then 1, increase, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we will reset it again, starting page 2, because you can't have 2 of the same command next to each other, which is annoying. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 to make it nice and quick. So now when we turn that light on and off, it whips that thrust around, but it doesn't move far enough, so we need it to go to minus. 80 is a bit much. Type the right buttons. There we go, 60. That's better. Right, so that light now whips us round. And so we need to set up the controller that's going to stop it. So it needs to be angle changed. And on this side we are going to be the opposite of that one, so we are going to be less than 5. It's going to be set to the thruster rotor. So it'll be RR01 rotor. When that rotor gets to the right angle, it's going to stop itself. Resets the velocity, so while that is active, wrong button, RR01. So while that controller is active, that rotor can only go that far. When it's switched off, it can go all the way forwards. So again, we just need to tie that into our forward, forward and backward controls. So this one is RR01, or rear right 01. And like all the others, we just follow the same pattern. So we turn off the controller and the light, and we stop and turn off the controllers that are triggering the thrusters. And we turn on the other timer that is controlling the thruster. And then the off timer, we do the same thing again, rear right 01. Oh, hang on. Fool. Wrong one. I don't want to be doing it on this one. I want to be doing it on the reverse thruster, you divvy. It is a reverse thruster. Yeah, that's the one. That's why it wasn't making sense. RR01, start again. So off, stop, off, on, trigger. That will not do what it's told, apparently. I think I turned off the wrong timer. Or wrong controller. Yes, I did. RR01. Yeah, turned off the wrong controller. Like a fool. We select our reverse actions, RR01. To turn that light on, we want to then... Oh, hang on. Okay. Then we want to stop that, turn it off, turn that on, trigger that. There we go. Hit reverse, they both kick into reverse. And turn on. I want to hit up. I haven't set up for this controller yet. So up, light, up. Same thing. Rear right 01, controller on, light off, thrust off, stop and switched off, thrust on, turned on and triggered. And then off mode, rear right 01, turn on the light, we stop and turn off the on timer, and turn on and trigger the on timer. So now when I hit spacebar, they all go vertical. When I hit forward, they all point forward, and when I hit reverse, they all point in reverse. Groovy. Right, we need to do a similar thing with these left and right controllers, because I want the top two to be able to point forwards. Well as sideways. And I want these two to be able to point up. Or do I want to make them point down? No, I'll make them point up. So this is going to be thruster light, rear right 02. We're going to need yet more event controllers. This is why it is always a good idea to design your cool looking ship first, and then figure out where you can squeeze all your blocks into afterwards. Because if you do it this way around, you can see the bricks start to form. And if you start your ship with just a few blocks and some thrusters on, you'll very quickly realise that, oh my god, where am I going to put everything? But this can just be a flying brick, because it is a tutorial brick. So, copy some more controllers. We'll have rear left 02. We'll have rear left 02 up. Yeah, because I'm going to make it point up. So once again, you're going to have a block switched on and off action, and it's going to look at the light I've just put on that thruster, which is rear left 02. When it does stuff, it's going to make that rotor move. Rear left 02. So this rotor is going to get reset. It's also going to get reset there. So for it to be in that position, we need to increase its velocity a bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7. And then we'll do the opposite on the way back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now that light makes that rotor move. On makes it point that way, off makes it point that way. But I want it, like the others, to point a little bit further. So we're going to set that to minus 60, and that way it'll be able to help us with left and right movement. And that's why we have that controller. So the RL2 rotor up will be angle changed, and L02, what is it actually at the minute? It goes from 90 to 60, so when it gets to less than 5, it wants to stop. So RL02, angle changed, less than 5 degrees, because you need to give it a couple of degrees for it to actually stop. RL02 rotor, like the other rotors, it will have its velocity reset. RL02 velocity reset. RL02, right, so turn that off, move that back to where it came from, turn that on, it won't go past there. Turn that off, it'll go as far as it likes. So, we want to tie that into the left controller, into the left on and off functions. Yeah. Right now, all we've got is those turning on and off. So, when we hit left, just double check something. When forward turns on, yeah, it turns off the up controller, it turns off the light, thought so. So left, when we turn left, we will RL02, we will turn off that because we don't need it anymore. Turn off that controller, we will turn off that light. We will stop and turn off the off thrust control, and we will turn on and trigger the thrust on control, so when I hit left it'll now do that. We want left to turn off. RL02, we just need to turn that light back on. Stop and turn off the thrust on timer, and then turn on and trigger the thrust off timer. So I hit left again and release it, it goes back to where it came from. You can hit right to go right, hit left to go left. So we again need to tie that thruster and its controls into our up controls, RL02. Hopefully we've got enough pages left for all of this. So our up controller will turn on, our light will turn off. We will stop the thruster from turning off, and we will let the thruster turn on again. So now when I hit up, there you go. Up, off. So we need to do the same again with that. RL02. So on, stop, off, on, trigger. Ooh. Right. 3 more thrusters to go, and that'll be that. That needs to be rear right, 02. Dock settings, copy all. That needs to be rear right, 02 up. That gets to be rear right, 02 rotor. So, one more time. Lock switched on and off. Light. Rear right, 02. RR02 can be reset and reset, and then decrease velocity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. And then, oh, I've just done it to the wrong one. Yep, did it to the wrong one. I wasn't paying attention again. Right, figure all the stupid mistakes. But it's all a learning curve. So, one, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Increase 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Right, that should be right now. That all needs deleting, because I'm an idiot. Right, idiot. So that is going to be angle changed, and it'll be the opposite of that. So it'll be greater than -5. Gets there, it is simply going to reset that rotor. RR02 rotor reset. So now we've got a light that turns that on. We also need to readjust that so it can go a bit further. There we go. So, rear right, 02. That light now makes that rotor turn. That controller there would have been stopping it. Oh, again, because I've not set the rear right 02 rotor. There we go. So now with that active, that rotor can't go past there. When that controller gets turned off, it can go all the way. So, we need to tie that into our right controls. So, when we go, what did we do when we went left? Left on, we went controller off, light off, everything else off. So, right. Rear right, 02, up controller off, light off. Timer stop and off, put the timer on and trigger. So when I hit right, it does that. We want to turn it off. All we got to do, turn that light back on, stop that timer and turn it off, turn that one on and trigger it. And now we've got them. And now we want that controller, that thruster to move with the up settings in the same way. So we want rear right 01. We want to turn on that thruster, turn off that light, turn, every time, stop and turn off that controller, that timer rather, turn on and trigger that one. And the reverse way around, rear right 02. We want to turn that light on, turn that timer off, turn that timer on, and trigger. So now we can fly up, we can fly left, we can fly right. And there we go. Now, we've still got these two thrusters on the top. Now, let's actually give these ones I say, let's give these full range of movement. So they can whip all the way round. Oop, that's not the right one. That wants to be 0. That wants to be 180 divvy. So that can flip all the way around there. And that one can be minus 180. Maybe able to whip all the way around there. So we'll sort that out. That can be RL03 to go with that set of rotors. And we need 2 more event blocks. And this is where things start to get cozy. Well, we need 4 more really, because we've got 2 either side. So we'll just pop them in there for now. That controller can be RL03. RL03. Right. Yeah. Right, so we're going to have even more rotors. So RL03 is going to be block switched on and off. Going to be controlled by that light. Like the others, when it is activated and deactivated, it's going to do different things. RL03 rotor. Reset. Reset. Decrease 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Increase 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There we go. This one will be angle changed, and it will be. This one was 0 to 180. So if we make this one greater than 85, to give us a little bit of a second before it hits its 90-degree angle that we want. That will be RR03 rotor. RR03 rotor reset. So oh no, not light. Oh god, RL03. Hang on, I smagged some stuff up. Yeah, I have. I've picked entirely the wrong rotor, for God knows what reason. RL03. RL03. Rotor right. RR03. Wrong one, Divvy. RL03. There we go. God knows why I picked that one. I wasn't paying attention. RL03. Reset velocity. There we go. RL03. Right. That's a bit better. So, we've got this light that now turns that thruster around. And we've got this controller that stops it moving further than we want it to. So, we can tie that into the forward and back controls again, like all the others. So we've got RL03, we want to turn off that controller, turn off that light, stop and turn off the thrusters off timer, and turn on and start the thrusters on timer. Oh hey dude, you've been doing more work in the house again. Yeah, I'm doing the V-TOL stuff that I mentioned earlier. It's only a rough system, but it sort of works. And then, so, for the RL03, we want to do the same thing with all that again. So we want to turn on that light. Ooh, wrong one. Turn on that light. Stop and turn off that timer. Turn on. Turn on and start that timer. Oh, in your shop. Oh, you got a shop, man. Playing with drywall must be fun. I haven't had to do that in a long time. So that should be the forward controls. Why have I done that? Oh, right. Obviously. Void. We don't want that, we don't want that light to trigger. Oh, in fact, we don't need any of that for that one. We just need RL03 to we need that one to just stop and turn off. L01 thruster. Why have I done those twice there? Oh, because I'm being stupid, that's why. Yeah, so actually, yeah, all I need to do is turn them on. Trigger that. Ah, right, fixing the windows and stuff, man. Right, yeah, so then in that case, we can now do this a bit differently because we've rearranged the angles. Of these rotors. So we turn that on and trigger it. In theory. Oh, that's still doing stuff. Ah, yes. I've also deleted something important, so FL01, I need to rebuild that. Off. 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 Stop. Off. On. Trigger. Should all be correct again. Yeah, that thruster's firing properly. And forward, off. 5 there. FL01. RL03. So all we need to do is turn off these thrusters. So stop that, turn it off, then I'll have to move all this along a bit. I'll do in a second. Turn that on, trigger it. RR03. 10. Stop that. Turn that off. Turn that on. Trigger it. FL01. I just need to rebuild that. So turn that on. Stop. Off. On. Trigger. So forwards, how does that? We need to do reverse. RL02. So we need to turn thing. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Nope. Rather stop that just in case. Turn that off. Turn that on. Trigger it. If we hit reverse. Oh, I've hit the wrong thing, haven't I? What have I done? Oh, I've done it all to number 2. Again, not paying attention. RL03 is the one we've just been playing with. So, off, off, stop, off, on, trigger. There we go. Now it goes in reverse. So reverse off. RL03. On. Stop. Off. On. Trigger. There we go. Forwards. Reverse. Forwards. Reverse. We want to make sure that we can go right. Or left, rather. No, we want it to go right. So, select right controller. Right, on. We just want to do the same thing with this. RL03. But when we go right. Oop. We want to turn on that event controller. Turn that off. Stop. Turn that off. Turn on. Trigger. Oh, you're washing tools and stuff. That's always fun. right off. We then want our RL03 light to turn back on again. We want to stop and turn off the thrust on timer, turn on and trigger the thrust off timer. So when we hit right, it does that. Reverse goes all the way around like that. Right goes like that. You can see all those timers kicking in like that. Then we've just got one last thruster to set up. Copy settings, copy all. That gets to be rear right 03 in here. We have the rear right. Left. Copy settings, copy all, copy settings, paste. And that can be our rear right rotor control. So, one last set of rotors. And then we'll do a bit of flying around, and then that will be the end of this session. Most likely. So we've got our rear right controllers. It's only 26 tons at the minute, which isn't bad, and you can always add more thrusters. You just have to tie them into the rest of the control systems. But it was flying pretty well before. It might be a little bit more sluggish now, but we'll find out. So we'll set up this last set of rotors. So first one needs to be block on and off, and it will be the final rotor light, RR03. When that light is turned on and off, it changes the velocity on this rotor. We'll reset it there for the way back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Decrease 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that light now makes that rotor spin. Groovy. Alright, so our last controller that needs setting up will be the opposite of that. So it'll be less than, angle changed, less than minus 85. And it will be the RR03 rotor. When that rotor detects something, it will RR03 rotor reset. So now in our RR03 section, we turn that on and off to make it spin back and forth, and if we turn that controller on, it'll only go as far as there. Cool. So now, for the final time, we just need to tie those controls into here. And we're going to need to move those once again to keep it nice and neat. So FR01. Turn that off, turn that off, stop, turn off, turn on, trigger. And we've already set up RR01 thrusters on and off. Oh, so I didn't actually need to move anything there. It's already set up. That one, it's reverse that needs setting up. So, hang on, let's just double check. Yeah, I don't think I do need to set anything up there. Less than more is then the lesser is more than the larger. I have no idea what you're talking about. If you mean the amount of blocks on this ship, then I've tried to condense it as much as possible. You can condense it further, but then it starts getting tricky. So, reverse control on. We want RR03. Turn off, turn off. Oop, wrong thing again. Off, off. Stop, off, on, trigger. Want to hit reverse. There you go, that kicks into reverse. When we return reverse off, we want the RR03 stop to turn back on, stop, off, on, trigger. Reverse, there we go. Now we just need to do that final left control. Left on, RR03. Just copy and paste the rest of this stuff. So it needs to be controller left on, light off. Stop the thrusters from turning themselves off. Turn that on. When I hit left, it does that. Need to set the left off controls. And that should just be a case of RR03. Turn that light on. Turn off the timer that is controlling the thruster. Turn on the one that turns it off. So there we go. Right and left. Forwards. Reverse. Up. Cool, so there we go. Something's fighting with our reverse controller a little bit. What's going on there? Oh. Reverse on. going on there? RR03 should be turning on there. It doesn't seem to be. There we go. Oh, I know what it'll be. It's because those thrusters are still controlling things. I think. Controller, flight. What are you being triggered by? Or is it to do with... Oh, right, yeah, it's because the forward thruster is reacting to the velocity. No, maybe if we make those controllers and make things a little bit more sensible. So spread out across the board then. Easiest to find. Ugh, I'll set up differently. So let's say 90. 90. 90. 90. 90. Yeah, they kind of have a few issues switching from forward to backward. Although reverse seems fine. Forward seems fine, reverse seems to have issues. What's going on there? What have we done differently in forward and reverse? Half the stuff is forward on. What have we got? Reverse on. What have we got? Ah, I think that might be an issue. We've got FL01 on and off. These rotors, thrusters rather. RL03. What are you doing? Do that all day long that side, but I can't do it all day long that side. Right, once it gets to there, but it goes all the way forward. Has issues. I slam it into reverse. Not quite sure what I've done differently there. We've got RL01 turning off and on. RL03 turning off and on. Not entirely sure what the difference is. R01. Space that out a bit better anyway. R01 on and trigger. But yeah, that is mostly a vanilla V-TOL system. It's not perfect, but it is usable. And then we still have the age-old subgrid issue of dropping. So what we can do to mitigate that is with our off position, we turn all of those lights off, or at least the ones that we want. So we have the front lights turn off, and rear left turn off, rear left 0, 2 turn off, rear right turn off, and oop, not that one. When we hit forward, we can get them to sit down like that. Possibly fire them if we wanted to. I haven't set up a down control yet. Or we could turn the up controllers on. Turn that on. Turn that on. RL01, RL02, 3 and 4. Turn them on. Mess about with different combinations to make the thrusters sit in different positions. Oh, but then that causes other problems, doesn't it? Anyway, we'll take all of that out. So that's a whole lot of messing around with different combinations of stuff. Get that to work properly. So no, we'll just leave it at that. We can fly forwards like that. And the other thrusters will react to what the other thrusters are doing. Like I said, not a perfect system. But it is a way of doing subgrid thruster control, vanilla style. There you go. Sort of vanilla-ish V-TOL. And obviously you can use bigger rotors, different grids, different size thrusters. Just got to bear in mind the amount of force that rotors, thrusters output versus the amount of force that rotors can handle. But yeah, you can see that kick in as I drop down too quickly. Those rotors will fly in position. Stop me nicely. Need to come up with a way to comfortably deal with the old subgrid, flying subgrid dropping problem, but yeah, there you go. That is pretty much vanilla V-TOL. I'm gonna leave this stream here for a bit. I'll fly around a little bit more though, but it's been about an hour and a half. It's a bit longer than I wanted it to be. But yeah, you can see as I fly forward, all the other thrusters respond to what the control thrusters are doing. Why do you keep turning around? Oh, because the side thrusters are also doing stuff with them, that's why. So, maybe the left and right controllers need maxing out a little bit more to stop them interfering too much. And then if you put it at max, it don't seem to do anything. Back down to 50. Back down to 50. Don't seem to like 100%. So then maybe have left and right set to 90. And have, say, forwards and backwards set a little bit lower. I'm still sure I've messed up something with that reverse controller. On, off, trigger. Yeah, it all seems right. I'm not sure. But either way. Well, that'll do. said it about 3 times, I'm going to end this here. That is some vanilla-ish, V-TOL-ish action. If anybody wants me to publish these things on Steam, let us know in the comment section. But no, that'll do that. Not fly too badly, to be honest, but yeah, that'll do that. I'll turn the sun back on. Yeah, that's that. It works fairly well. And then you can tweak it all to your heart's delight to make it a little bit more useful. But yeah, that'll do. So that is some vanilla V-TOL nonsense. And thank you for dropping in and saying hello, Thornmore. And thank you to anyone else that watches this stream. And I will see you all next time for some more nonsense. So, cheers guys, and goodbye for now.